guys, what are we going to talk about today? Today we are going to talk about two versions of the same knife, and I had mentioned it before. This is the Asher Knives 2.0. This is the the Nomad 2.0, and this is the Asher Knives framelock. And we're going to talk about the differences and why I think that I like the Asher Knives 2.0 just a little bit better. So, without any, playing around, you guys know what to do. Turn down the volume because here comes a little bit of music. Mike here. Just wanted to throw it out there so that future Mike always forgets. If you haven't checked out the merch store, there's a lot of stuff in there. I got sweatshirts, I got t-shirts, I got coffee cups. There's a link in the description. If you want to support the channel, all the sales go to the merch store and providing the stuff, but then I get a portion of the take of it. So like I said, merch store, sweatshirts, t-shirts, coffee cups, they're all really nice. Now, back to future Mike so he can tell you about a knife. So as you guys can obviously see, what's playing in the background is the Angry Video Game Nerd. It's something I shouldn't have to explain. I think everybody knows what the Angry Video Game Nerd is. It's one of the channels I like. I will be linking it in the description below. So what are we talking about? Well, these are both different versions of the same knife that Jared sent me. One is the Asher Knives 2.0, which is an axis lock version, and the other one is the version that we just looked at the other day, the framelock, which is a stainless steel framelock. So this is going to be a fairly short video. I'm just going to show you the reasons why I kind of think that the axis lock version kind of pushes the framelock one to the side. And to tell you the truth, I'm going to point out why this Asher Knives framelock is a little bit better than my Benchmade, the axis lock version is better than my Benchmade axis lock. So without any further ado, let's get everything set up. I'll meet you guys down at the table. We'll go through some of just the general specs and things like that, and I will see you. All right, guys, that took a lot longer than I thought it would to go in between the intro and here. I dropped my tripod off a shelf and I had a hard time getting everything set back up the way it was. So like I said, these are two versions of the same knife. This is the Asher Knives Nomad, and you guys watched the video about this one. This is the stainless steel framelock version. And this is the other version that I said I was going to talk about that I actually like a little bit better. This is the Asher Knives Nomad 2.0. Action on it's a little bit better. The feel in hand is a little bit better, and it has a lot to do with, as much as I kind of like thin knives, this knife isn't broad enough to be that thin. So if you're going to have a knife that's thin, just like with a blade, if you're going to have a thick stock, you got to have a broad blade. If you're going to have a thin profile, you've got to have a broad handle. And it just doesn't feel as good in hand as this does with a little bit additional thickness. So all the specs on this knife are pretty much the same. We'll go ahead and we'll run through them real quick again. Both of these knives are 7.4 overall length with a closed length of 4.2, and this is all in inches. A blade length of 3.2. They're both drop point. They're both an S35BN. They're both run on cage ceramic bearings. Now the weights on these are a little bit different. We'll get the scale out here in a second, look at it. But you can see side by side these knives are, pretty much they are identical. You flip them over, you can see that the profiles are almost identical. The difference is pocket clip on this one's a little bit different. Locking mechanism is a little bit different, and the thickness across the spine is a little bit different. This is an axis lock version with G10 scales, G10 backspacer, and steel liners. Now, the issue with the thumb studs is pretty much the same on this when I talked about it the other day, that I wish they didn't stand up as tall, but it doesn't bother me as much on this one because it is a little bit thicker. So let's go ahead and we'll just get those measurements out of the way. The two things are going to be different, which are the weight and the thickness of the handle. Let's go ahead and get the weight out of the way first. So we'll go ahead and and I forget what the weight on the original one was, but we'll do it ounces first. So for the frame lock, you're looking at 3 1/8. So for the 2.0, you are looking at 3 1/4. So, you know, a little bit lighter on the framelock version. So let's go ahead and do that in grams for those of you that don't use freedom units. So the framelock is 88 grams, and the 2.0, which is the axis lock, is 95 grams. And that has to do with it being a little thicker. Blade stock thickness, everything on these is exactly the same. So let's go ahead and we're gonna get the scale out of the way. So let's go ahead and measure the thickness of these handles. Now you guys are gonna notice I am not using the microphone. It's not very loud out here in my garage, and I was having a problem with it. I contacted the company and they are sending me a replacement. So we'll start, let's just go ahead and turn it on. In inches, you're looking from scale to scale, if I can get my finger out of the way, you're looking at 0.342 on the framelock version, and you're looking at 0.428 on the axis lock version. So those are your little bit of differences out of the way. So let's go ahead and we'll put these side by side and we'll take a good close look at why I like one more than the other. So this knife's action is just a little bit better. It's a little bit better, and there's another thing. This pocket clip, I mentioned it in the first video, that pocket clip kind of slides back and forth. This one, not so much. This is a much more stable pocket clip. The reason I don't like that is I can feel it. When I grab a hold of the knife to deploy it, I can feel that pocket clip move. And that's why I don't like Spyderco's little wire clips that go around that just are a piece of wire. I don't like those. I'd much rather have a bent clip or something like that. They have a tendency to move. This has a lot of play in it that this one really doesn't have. And I mean, I'm putting the same amount of tension. It does move a little. And so when you deploy it, it feels better. And the other one is in hand. Hang on a second, guys. Let me change the color of that light for a second. I don't like the light, that color. There we go. That's a better render color. The other thing is in hand, it's way more comfortable. The action just feels better on this than it does on this one. And I think that a lot of that is just to do with, I don't know, maybe the lock bar tension. It's not bad on this, but this just seems to be a little bit crisper and a little bit nicer. And the fact is, like I said, with that additional thickness, it's a little bit more comfortable in hand. So both of these knives are great. This one also has the reversible pocket clip, just like the frame lock one, but it's just, like I said, ever so slightly more comfortable, and I like a well done axis lock. So that's that on that one. But I'm going to make another comparison. I'm going to show you why I think this knife is even a better choice than this one, even though I love this knife. So I've taken this knife apart numerous times. They run on basically the same lock. It's the same lock system. It's not a knockoff. Benchmade lost their patents on this. It had expired. And so people started making their own versions of the axis lock. Just one of those things. The axis lock on this one seems to be a little bit crisper than this one. And the other thing is, this one had a little bit of blade play. When I first took it out of the box, after Jared sent it to me, it had some blade play. And I was like, oh, here we go, another axis lock that's just always gonna have blade play. And I tightened it down a little bit, and this is rock solid. There is zero blade play in this. Now this knife, I've taken apart numerous times to try and figure out how to get rid of the blade play. I've tried to tighten it down, you lose your action. I've done all the things everyone recommended. I've tried to make sure that the scales were not bent. I've tried to make sure the liners weren't bent. I played with the washers and everything like that. And the fact is that this knife still has blade play in the open position. And I've felt that in so many Benchmade knives that I'm gonna just say that I think it's just a thing with Benchmade knives that their axis locks have blade play. It's funny to me that Asher Knives did a budget knife with an axis lock and did it better than Benchmade, who designed this lock. So, you know, out of the two, I would have to say this knife's not going to get its own full review. I like it a lot. Like I said, I told you guys in the previous video about this knife how much I liked it. I like this one even more. Pocket clip's better. The pocket clip is, as you can see, that pocket clip's a little thinner. Can you see that? It doesn't stand up as proud. Everything about this knife is just a little bit better to me than this knife, which makes sense because we're going to talk about something in a second when we turn this back around. So let's go ahead, let's flip this around and just do some final thoughts, and I'll give you a price point. So like I said, guys, these knives are, I mean, they're basically the same knife, just in two different versions. I just happen to like this one a little bit better. But what really surprised me is this one is actually more expensive. This is $84. If you remember, the Nomad framelock was 74. I got the paper right here. $75. These are $84. But the big thing was the quality of this knife is actually done better than this $180 knife by Benchmade. And like I said, I have done everything in my power to remove the issues. I still love this knife. I still carry it a lot. But it just surprises me that a budget knife coming in at $84 has got a better access frame lock action, or an access lock action, than the company that designed it and built, and that came up with that lock system. So not much else to say about it, guys. It's just I wanted to show you the two different versions of that. I didn't think it made sense to give it its own video. If you like the videos, guys, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like them, give them a thumbs down, but please try to tell me why. There's affiliate links in the description below. The merch store right now, to tell you the truth, even though I keep talking about it and there is a link to it, the merch store right now is shut down. They're converting over to a new print company that's going to host it on their servers. It's my friend Justin Lair's company, Ember. But if you would like an Ember shirt, the Ember Shirt Co. stuff that you saw, the ones that I talk about all the time, I have an affiliate link down there. If you go in, it enters you in a huge giveaway. They're giving away like $2,000 worth of stuff. And anything you purchase on the website with that affiliate link does help the channel out. So, guys, with that being said, that's the end of the video. Please try to be good to each other in the comments. If you want to get in on exclusive giveaways, I am giving away one of my custom-made knives this month to the top tier paying members. There's links to that. And if you just like a specific video and you just want to give me a little bit of a, like a little tip, like a little applause for saying good video, you can do that as well. And you just pick a set amount to give to the channel if you can't be on a monthly subscription. So, guys, keep it clean in the comment sections below. Utilize the comment section. I do like seeing comments. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next video as soon as I find the button.